So I wanted to do a review of my favorite pair of boots, which is the Trickers Stow. These are the Burgundy Crosshatched editions, but there's a lot in common with the kind of main version of the Stow, and so I wanted to go over a little bit of the boot itself, tell you about this pair in particular, and some of my impressions wearing them. So Trickers is an English company. It's based in Northampton, England. It was founded in 1829, and they're famous for their kind of country boots. The Stow is a country boot. It's designed for kind of tramping out in the moors where it's kind of muddy, and they're designed to kind of hold up to that and keep your feet dry. And so I'll give you a little bit of background about what the Stows are generally. This particular pair is a little different. They're cross-hatched, and then in the burgundy color, the cross-hatching is this kind of stamped pattern into the leather that gives it some extra kind of water-repelling properties. But the main leather for the Stows most typically is calfskin. There's others that are made in like kudu, some are done in suede, but the leather for them generally is calfskin. And like the kind of famous color for the Trickers is the acorn calfskin, I would say is kind of the hallmark. So the Stows are known for their broguing, and the broguing, that's the kind of stamped pattern on the shoes. That is part of what helps them resist water. The broguing became kind of famous because it was a way to have the water kind of flow off of the shoe rather than into the shoe and having to empty it out. And so the broguing helps them be more water repellent. And another thing that helps with that is the half gusseted tongue. So a gusseted tongue means that the tongue is sewn into the boot itself. Half means it only goes up about halfway. But what that means again is that if you're stepping in water or getting rained on or something like that, rather than the water going in between the laces and getting into your socks, the tongue will repel it and keep it from getting into the main boot because there's that kind of sewn in barrier. So the Stows have a half gusseted tongue. Another feature that's pretty common on all of the Stows is this big heavy heel block. So they're very kind of trompy boots. You're not going to be stealthy wearing these. The big heel block, day-night soles is pretty common in all of them. There's a lot of varieties of the Stow. So one thing to keep in mind is that some of them are made with like a commando lug, some of them are made with leather soles. The day-night, I would say, is the most common, and I've been very pleased with it on these. So one thing I should mention with the Stows is the price. They are listed on the Trickers site at £455, which at the moment of this video works out to $629, which is a pretty penny. But that said, it is possible to get them a lot cheaper than that, and I recommend doing that. So on the Trickers outlet site, Stows are available for £245, which is $338 at the time of shooting, and so that's much less of a bite out of your wallet. And so another thing I would say is that like there's a lot of varieties of the Stow, and Trickers has a ton of different colors of them. And if you're not super particular, the outlet can be a very good way to get them because they just kind of list whatever they happen to have at the time, whatever they've made too many of at the moment. And so if they have them in black, they'll have them in black until they run out. If they have them in gray, they'll have them in gray till they run out. Sometimes there's kind of a limited set of sizes, but a lot of the time they have a pretty big spread. So you'll have most of the options available to you, especially when they first put them up on the outlet site. They also do pretty regular sales of about 40% off. So like I said, I mean, even though it's a pretty big investment, you should be able to pay a lot less than full price. And you're not getting like some weird ass like knockoff, reject version of the Stow. I mean, the ones that they're putting on the outlet site are usually very good. One time they had one that was like white with blood spatters on it, which I wouldn't really be my first pick. But there's some very attractive versions of the Stow on the outlet site. They can be very nice, very worth buying. I got these on the outlet site. As far as Upkeep goes, one of the reasons that they're my favorite boot is that they've worn very well. So this pair is about 2 years old, and I mean, they're apart from the soles, they're basically brand new. They're very comfortable. They're very easy to wear. The leather basically hasn't aged at all. They've just held up and are in excellent shape. A couple things that I would say is that the Stows don't have a lot of arch support, and so one of the ways that I've gotten around that is to use these cheap-ass Dr. Soles insoles, and they've solved that problem very nicely. Other than the arch support, I would say the boots are very comfortable and they're very easy to be in all day. One thing to keep in mind though with the Stows is that if you're not in the United Kingdom, they use UK sizing, which is different than American sizing. And so in American boots, I wear a 9.5. In sneakers, I wear a 10. But these are a 9. They're a UK 9. And so I would say like at minimum a half size down. And that said, these are a little roomy even for that. They're a little big on me. And so that was a concern of mine at first when I got them. I mean, they fit and they work okay, but they're a little big. But that said, the extra size makes it so that the cheap ass insole actually works pretty nicely in there. So there's extra room, and I'm kind of glad that I got the size that was a little bigger. The Trickers last is the 4497S last, and they describe that as being on the roomier side even for a UK shoe. And so one of the problems that I've had with like the Thursday Captains is that there's not a whole lot of room in the toe box, and my left foot's a little bigger than my right foot, and so if I have a pair where it fits my right foot pretty well, the left toes are kind of smushed into the shoes, and I've had to send a couple pairs back with Thursday. It took me a couple tries to get the two pairs that I have that fit very nicely. But that said, you're not going to have that problem with the Stows. There's a lot of room in the shoe for your toes. I've never had anything getting, my toes or my nails or anything getting smushed up inside. Even with the insole, there's plenty of room in there. So if you've got kind of bigger toes or wider feet or something like that, the Stows could be a very good option for you. As far as Upkeep goes, I've been using Epic Woodlore shoe trees in them, and for these size 9s, I've been using the medium size. The Epic Woodlores, they're cedar, and the Epics have 2 of the little metal spring-loaded things to keep the shoe in good shape, and I've been very happy with them. As far as conditioning the shoes, I've used Saphir Renovateur. I haven't used any like colored polish on them, especially since they've got this kind of burnished finish. I didn't really want to cover up kind of the multicolored burgundy, and so I haven't used any kind of color. I've just been using the Renovateur, and that's worked very nicely. One thing I'll say too is that because of the broguing, when you condition them, you'll get little bits of conditioner that's in the holes, and so if you use a Q-tip, you can just kind of go in there and get that out. It adds a little bit of time, but it's not too complicated. And I've just, like I said, I've just used Renovateur as my conditioner for them. I do it about every 6 months, and that's kept them in fine shape. So in any case, that's the main stuff I wanted to tell you about the Stows. Like I said, they're extremely comfortable. I really like the look of them. And as I mentioned in my other video, I'm a professor. And so I wanted something where I could be on my feet all day, teaching, 3 classes, going all around campus, walking, doing stuff, and, not have sore feet at the end of the day. And these do a great job for that. And at the same time, I wanted something that looked nice, looked professional, wasn't just like the tennis shoes I've been wearing before I got into boots. So in any case, if you are thinking of buying these or considering the Stows, I think they're an excellent investment. I've really been happy with them. 2 years in, they're just kind of barely even getting started, and they're probably due for a resole. But other than that, I mean, I could see myself having these for like a decade. They're fantastic shoes, and they're super comfortable. If you're debating buying them or considering some other kind or something like this, get the Stows. They're great. So in any case, that's what I've got, and next time I'll review another pair of boots that I wear for outdoors. One thing I wanted to say is that, like, although these are kind of billed as like outdoor country tramping boots, I've never really wanted to like take them out into the wilderness. I have another pair that I'll review in my next video that's much more suited for getting scuffed and beaten and tromping through mud and stuff. These are good for rain, but personally they're too nice. I just really like the look of them and the style of them, and I don't really want to go out and just beat the hell out of them. So I have another set of boots that I'll review in my next video that I beat the hell out of, at least as much as a professor can do. So in any case, thank you for watching, and I hope this was helpful to you. And like I said, if you're interested in the Stows, I just highly recommend them. I can't recommend them enough. They're just fabulous boots. All right, thank you.